With GAMESCOM wrapped up for the year 2022, there were some great reveals, some awesome announcements and some brilliant trailers for new and existing games, with some DLCs for our favourite games such as Destiny and Dying Light, all the way to some brand new announcements and further teasers for games yet to be released. So let's have a look at 10 awesome upcoming games that we saw at GAMESCOM 2022. This list is in no particular order. However, what I will say is our number one for this list is probably the biggest takeaway and what looks like an absolutely amazing announcement from GAMESCOM. So we have known about Warhammer 40,000 Darktide for a long while. Back in 2020, this game got announced and I have been waiting so badly for this game to come out. Well, we got yet another trailer for this game. Developed by Fatshark, Darktide will play similar to the developer's other major success in the Vermintide games. Essentially think Left 4 Dead, but in the 40k universe, you play as one of the 4 classes with some customizable features which is new to this series compared to Vermintide. You will face hordes and hordes of enemies from the realm of chaos. That's the main aim, is to shoot and survive your way through missions. The story itself is going to be revealed over time, turning Darktide into more of a live service game, similar to how Destiny 2 might do it and titles such as that. You will play as a prisoner, only to serve the Inquisition on the Hive City, fighting back against their Chaos forces with the ability to create different builds within each class. You will be alone, but with 3 other friends of course, so you're not completely alone. If Darktide does play anything like the Vermintide series, which this gameplay trailer does seem to indicate, this will be an experience that is best enjoyed with friends. Personally, I'm super excited for this game. I cannot wait to slay me some Chaos. I just hope Papa Nurgle approves. Darktide will be available on November the 30th, 2022, so it's not going to be in the too far future to experience this game set in the far grimdark future. Delving into the legend of the Baba Yaga, Blacktail got a new trailer at Gamescom this year. Initially announced in 2021, Blacktail describes itself as having a dark storytelling of a girl who must choose between good and evil, set with a first-person perspective using archery and spellcraft. The trailer showed off an absolutely beautiful fantasy setting and beautiful visuals for this game, and we got a few looks at some of the gameplay, but aside from this we still don't really know too much about Blacktail, and it's supposed to be releasing in December this year, so hopefully with Gamescom over we'll start getting more information about this action-adventure game inspired by the Slavic myth. With the release date announced of February the 3rd, Dead Island 2 seems to have crawled back out into the light, not only with a trailer, but gameplay footage and a release date. Sequel to the Dead Island, which was released all the way back in 2011, Dead Island 2 was initially announced back in 2014, however has been sadly in what is known as the development hell, with changes of studio multiple times, now being developed by Deep Silver. It seems Dead Island 2 has managed to crawl its way back to the light. Dead Island 2 will be an open world game set in Los Angeles, San Francisco. Maybe I just butchered names for this whole video and that's how we do this. With updated combat mechanics and the inclusion of several new features such as crafting, survive the zompocalypse. The trailer was pretty exciting to see and it promises to have a ton of ways to kill zombies. Dead Island 2 now has strong competition. Dead Island 1 didn't have as much competition of the open world zombie killing game. Now in 2022, there is a lot of games, namely in the Dying Light series and Dying Light 2. But maybe Dead Island 2 can spread like a virus and please us all. Hopefully we'll get more information about the story and the actual gameplay of this game ready for its February 3rd release. Dune Awakening was announced. It had a cinematic trailer to boot, which was quite interesting, and really we don't really know too much. What we do know so far is that Dune Awakening will be an open world survival game, which is pretty awesome, being developed by Funcom, based in the universe of Dune by Frank Herbert. Now this isn't actually Funcom's first entry into the open world survival game. Their previous game, Conan Exiles, still has a large community of players with a lot of success with that Conan Exiles series, and learning from the development of that game, we can only hope that Dune Awakening will thrive and hopefully build on the genre instead of just fitting in with it. Dune Awakening looks to refer to itself as an open world survival MMO where players must survive the most dangerous planet in the universe, having to build shelters from sandstorms, maintaining your bodysuit, gather, hunt, build, and most likely there'll be some fighting involved somewhere. And also you can build like a faction around spice, which is quite interesting, which obviously is a big part of Dune itself. Dune sounds like it will follow a lot of the conventional and stereotypical survival games and some of those things that you would find in those, so we'll see how they do it. I'd like to see them actually build on it though, seeing as they have had success with Conan Exiles. I'd like to see them do something new, and obviously being Dune, it will be set in that sci-fi world, in that sci-fi universe created by Frank Herbert. Now the trailer didn't actually show us too much, so there's a lot of questions about Dune. How will it play? How's it actually going to look? What are you going to do? How big's the map going to be? Is it just going to be the one planet? All those things we don't know the answers to yet based off of the trailer we saw. The trailer was also just a cinematic trailer. It was fairly short. We'll look forward to seeing some more information soon. If you are interested in Dune, you can actually sign up for the beta on the website right now. So we got a new trailer to the Callisto Protocol. Now this game had already been announced, so this wasn't a new game that was revealed. However, it is still bloody exciting to see, and with a new trailer that is absolutely awesome. It was giving us some gameplay for that survival horror game. Being developed by Striking Distance Studios, the Callisto Protocol was already announced back at the Game Awards in 2020. It's directed by Glenn Schofield, who was one of the creators for Dead Space, and you'll find a lot of similarities between the two games here, from the dark sci-fi looks to the mutated horror aspects of the game. This game is set in a prison. The Callisto Protocol sees an alien invasion that leaves a bloody and horrific nightmare behind whilst you try to survive this onslaught in a very Dead Space fashion. Again, you can see the heavy inspiration here. In fact, I think I remember seeing a load of memes about it looking very similar to Dead Space. The trailer that we got to see, it showed a lot of actual gameplay, which is absolutely brilliant. So we now know how it's going to play and how it looks, and it looks beautiful. I absolutely love that sort of really dark horror vibe that it's going for, and I think the same can be said for Dead Space as well. We also got to see the combat. We got to see how gruesome it is. You could stomp your way through the aliens, you can shoot or you can melee, and there's lots of different animations there, and it looks beautiful. The mobs as well, the enemies, the aliens or the mutants, it seems to be a bit of both. They look absolutely horrific, and it is absolutely on point. So really excited for the Callisto Protocol. If you are interested in the Callisto Protocol, it is set to be released in December this year, 2022.
Gives me chills every time.
So, titled The Lords of the Fallen. The Lords of the Fallen is a sequel to 2014 The Lords of the Fallen, and this is not going to confuse anyone because there is nothing wrong with giving your game the exact same game title name as its prequel with no extensions on it. So for the purpose of this, we're going to be calling it Lords of the Fallen 2, just because it's much easier to understand. But Lords of the Fallen is back. We got a trailer at GAMESCOM showing off a cinematic trailer complete with an 80s rock music theme. For some reason, not too sure where that came from, but you know what? It worked, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. We were showing some very Dark Souls-esque characters fighting it out, very humanoid. They were jamming that out to some music in the background, and it was absolutely awesome to watch. It shows a very dark fantasy setting, similar to the first game. It was a dark sort of setting. However, Lords of the Fallen 1 was much more of like a power fantasy. It's kind of like, you kind of look like you were a space marine, but a fantasy melee version of a space marine. The original Lords of the Fallen released back in 2014. It was met with some fairly average reviews and feedback from the player base. Some loved it, some hated it. So time will tell if they've actually learned their lessons from this game and if Lords of the Fallen 2 has learned from the mistakes of its predecessor. We didn't get much information given about the game. We do know is that they have stated enemies are meant to be harder and the setting will be more dark fantasy than before, than that sort of more dark power fantasy, like however you'd call it, Space Marines meet fantasy. It would seem it is in a bid to captivate that Soulsborne players and the community, so fingers crossed that the mistakes have been learned from and the experience that is given to fans is one that they can enjoy or rage at or enjoy. I'll probably be raging at it because I'm bad at these games, but hopefully they would enjoy it. Next we have Destiny 2 Lightfall. Destiny seems to have absolutely nailed its formula on how it releases its new content for its looter shooter sequel to the game of the same name. What they tend to do is release a new DLC and then they have ongoing seasons to keep the content flowing and to keep the story flowing as well. And GAMESCOM was the reveal for Destiny 2 Lightfall with trailer info and a release date to boot. The release date is February 2023. Players will get to enjoy exploring a new zone, Neomuna. I'm so bad at pronouncing words. I'm so bad. It's a cityscape, looks beautiful from the trailer, alongside new enemies, which give me a huge Space Marine vibes. They give me major Space Marine vibes. But you get new story, new raids, dungeons, and a subclass for each of the 3 main classes within Destiny 2. If you are a fan of the looter shooter or multiplayer shooters in general, I would definitely say give Destiny 2 a try if you haven't already. And obviously, if you played Destiny 2, I can imagine you are looking forward to Lightfall. If you haven't played Destiny 2 before and you want to, Destiny 2 is actually free to play, which is absolutely awesome. However, what you do find is, although it is free to play, it's a very limited experience you get, and you'll end up needing to buy some of the DLCs to continue your adventure. But with this DLC still a small while away, coming out early next year, I think there's no better time to jump in if you haven't already. So next, let's talk about Atlas Fallen, which is from the creators of the Surge series. Atlas Fallen was announced to us. It was a new announcement of an open world adventure game, which, unlike The Surge, Atlas Fallen is not designed to be a Souls game. Instead, a blend more of God of War meets Horizon Forbidden West. That's how they say it. And also by the looks of it, it looks like it also meets Monster Hunter quite a bit. You'll be playing as a prisoner with the power to destroy gods with a divine gauntlet. You slay monsters and you'll use their essence to craft new weapons. And what's really cool is these new weapons will mutate, or they'll change. They'll grow with you as you get combos. It sounds really, but obviously this sounds very similar to the Monster Hunter series of finding big monster, kill big monster, make awesome weapon out of big monster. However, it will be with some faster paced combat than what you see in the Monster Hunter series. You will be able to dodge attacks, build combos, wield magic, and watch your weapon mutate as you fight in this. The trailer being cinematic, it didn't really show us too much of what the game will play or even look like. We were introduced to some of the monsters alongside some humanoid enemies and 2 heroes, the 2 protagonists fighting together. I want to know, is this an indication of a co-op or multiplayer aspect? Monster Hunter obviously does have multiplayer, however, it's not always the easiest to play with your friend. We'll have to wait to hear more on Atlas Fallen. So, still in pre-alpha and only a teaser released, Wired Song, I'm not sure how this is pronounced, but it was announced, and it's by a brand new studio called Something Wicked Games. Teased as a new dark open world RPG, the studio is led by Jeff Gardner, who, if you don't know, was a former Bethesda lead working on titles such as Skyrim, Fallout 3, 4 and 76. Alongside them is also the director Charles Staples from Obsidian Entertainment, credited for working on the Fallout New Vegas and the Outer Worlds game. That is quite a talent pool with some absolutely amazing games under their belt, so Wild Song will make players question everything: reality, choices, consequences, and even the help that is being given to you. Who do you trust and who do you not? That is one of the main precipices of the game. We don't know too much about the story or the gameplay or really anything. We know there will be combat, the setting is a dark fantasy, and your character will be fully customizable just like you see in Skyrim or Fallout, with classic RPG systems such as questing and crafting. We don't have a release date as this game is currently still in pre-production, however the trailer and the announcement has certainly got me interested. It certainly hypes me up because I absolutely love my fantasy RPGs. I loved Skyrim, I love the Fallout games. I cannot wait to see what they come up with. So this was probably one of the biggest takeaways from GAMESCOM, and it was called Lies of P. With a fantastic gameplay trailer, Lies of P tells a strange version of the Pinocchio story, but with a healthy dose of adding in a little bit of the Soulsborne journey. We got to see a variety of weapons, hammers, swords, arm cannons, and magic. Yes, I did say arm cannons, and I am here for it. Lies of P tells a story about the puppet Pinocchio, with story and gameplay mechanics around a system of lies. Telling lies will alter how the gameplay of Lies of P. I'll reserve judgment though on how these lies will actually affect the game or the story. I'm not sure if it's just gameplay or its story as well, as a lot of games have claimed over the years about having player choice and actions affecting gameplay or affecting the story, and they've never really delivered in the way that the audience has thought they will. Lies of P though could be the game that really breaks through and lives up to its promises of gameplay changing depending on how this mechanic is used. Set in a very grim looking fallen city called Krat, Pinocchio will fight to do what he can to finally become human, with some truly awesome enemies to fight, some of which look absolutely awesome. I was especially excited by the weird clockwork mobs. The gameplay trailer has left people truly mouth-watering for this experience. It will be a Soulsborne-like game, so expect it to be very difficult, so expect me to get very angry at it all the time. I might buy a few controllers just to put in a safe, but hopefully we can look forward to Lies of P in 2023. So what did you think of these reveals? This was just 10 of the reveals from Gamescom. There was a ton more that got announced, that got revealed and got showcased at Gamescom 2022. What was your favorite? Was your favorite on this list, or was there another game? And if so, what was that game? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. I would really appreciate any and all support. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you soon.